Hello, and welcome to this video on using Tabular Editor and Databricks. My name is Johnny Winter. In this video, we'll look at building a semantic model using Tabular Editor and Databricks. Before we get started, you'll need to make sure you have Tabular Editor 3 and the Simba ODBC driver installed. You'll also need access to a Databricks workspace containing the data you wish to add to your semantic model. So to get started, once you have created a new model in Tabular Editor, go to Model, Import Tables. The Use Implicit Data Source option needs to be selected. Click Next. Select your Databricks data source. My Databricks free edition is hosted in AWS, so I'm going to choose Other Hosts. Here you'll need to fill out the connection details. We need a server host name, a HTTP path, and we'll also need to provide authentication. Whilst you can authenticate using Azure AD, this might not necessarily be set up, in which case you can choose an authentication token. We can get all of these details from our Databricks SQL warehouse. From the Compute page in Databricks, select the warehouse, select the Connection Details tab. Our server host name and HTTP path are available here. To generate a personal access token, select the option in the top right corner. Click the button to generate new token. Provide a description of what it's for, and specify how long you'd like it to last. Copy this token to your clipboard. Back in Tabular Editor, we can add those details and hit OK to connect. I'm going to use import mode, so I'll use the direct query box unchecked. Hit Next. Once you're connected, you'll be able to browse the catalogs, schemas, and tables that are available to you. Select the tables you'd like to import into your semantic model. For this demonstration, I'm just going to include one fact table so I can build a simple star schema, and click Next. And finish to import the tables. We can see the imported tables in our Tom Explorer. From here, you can develop your semantic model just like you would with any other data source. But would this really be a Tabular Editor video if we didn't give you some additional help in terms of turbocharging your development? So I'm going to go through some C# scripts that are going to help you develop better models faster. So first thing to point out once we've imported our table into Databricks is that our table names and our column names are a little bit ugly. All of our table names have come through in lowercase and in snake case. And our column names don't have spaces. We want users of our model to see business-friendly names. So we've got a script for that. Head to the Tabular Editor docs website and you'll see the Databricks semantic model setup script. If we copy this script, create a new C# script in Tabular Editor, paste it in, and execute the script, that's much better. Our table names and column names are now in a friendlier format. Next up, let's take a look at our model in the model view. As you'll see, currently there are no relationships between our tables. But if we remember back to part 3 of our series, when we looked in Databricks Unity Catalog, those relationships were defined. Wouldn't it be great if we could somehow reuse those definitions of those relationships and bring them into our tabular model? Well, now we can. Again, on the docs.tabular editor website, we have the script to create Databricks relationships. Scroll down and copy the script. Paste it into a script window in Tabular Editor. First thing we need to do is select the table where the relationships are defined. In our case, the orders table is the fact table, and this is where the foreign key definitions are. So if we select that table, run our script. One of the first things this will do is going to ask for our Databricks personal access token, which we've already created to help develop our tabular model. So you'll need to paste that in here. Hit OK. We get a message back to tell us that 9 relationships have been created to the orders table. If I look at my diagram view now, you can see that all the relationships have now been defined. Lastly, let's have a look at our best practice analyzer. I'm sure all semantic model developers are familiar with this particular recommendation. We've got 71 objects that are visible but have no description. But again, if we remember back to part 3 of our series, inside of Unity Catalog, all of those columns have got descriptions provided. Is there a way we can reuse that? Well, yes there is. We head to the script library on the Tabular Editor website again. We have this script to add Databricks metadata descriptions. Again, let's scroll down, copy the script, open a new script window, paste this in. We need to select all the tables we want to add descriptions to, and then run script. I need to validate with my pat token again. Hit OK. For each of the selected table, we'll get a message to tell us how many descriptions have been added. We'll see down at the bottom we've got no more issues with Best Practice Analyzer. And if we select a column, we can see that the column description has now been added. If you want, you can add all of those scripts as macro actions inside a Tabular Editor. Once your model is fully developed and you're happy with it, you can deploy it to the Power BI service just like you would any other tabular model. Once your semantic model has been deployed, you're going to need to set up the credentials so that you're able to do data model refreshes. Now you can choose to set that up as a cloud connection, or alternatively you can set up those credentials directly on the semantic model. Do that by navigating to the workspace where the semantic model is deployed. Go to Settings, Edit Credentials. Now for the authentication method, if you select OAuth 2 here, that's going to tie the credentials to the user that sets this connection up. And if that user leaves the organization, it's likely that refresh of the model is going to fail. A better approach is to use the key option. Here you provide an access token, just like we did when we were developing. Rather than use a personal access token like the one that we generated earlier in this video, it is better if you can get a Databricks administrator to create an access token that's associated with the service principal. From there, you should be good to go. So, now you've built your first semantic model using Tabular Editor and Databricks. We've connected to a Databricks SQL warehouse from Tabular Editor, imported our tables, and used some nifty C# scripts to accelerate our development. We've also looked at how to configure credentials once the model has been published to the Power BI service. Thanks for watching.